Thanks for tuning in. In the 1960s, muscle cars focused on delivering brute force through naturally aspirated V8 engines, producing an exhilarating acceleration that could propel them to impressive speeds. In this episode, we'll review the quickest quarter-mile muscle cars of 1964. Stay tuned and be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as we get into the countdown. Number 11. Studebaker Lar R2289, 15.8 seconds. In 1964, Eugene Hardy, one of Studebaker's chief engineers at the time, partnered with Paxton Products, the manufacturer of the superchargers used in the R2 models. Studebaker aimed to compete with legendary muscle cars from Chevy, Ford, and Plymouth. The team enhanced the existing Lark platform with performance upgrades to come up with the 1964 Lark. The car was relatively small and boasted the era's styling cues, like a slightly sloped windshield and rounded edges that likely contributed to a decent performance. Under the hood was a 289 cubic inch V8 producing 289 horsepower and 306 pound-feet of torque. The engine featured a Paxton centrifugal supercharger, which was a key component in the engine's power output. It also had a solid lifter camshaft, which was more performance-oriented than hydraulic lifters, allowing for higher revs and more aggressive valve timing. The compression ratio was kept relatively low, around 9:1, to accommodate the boost from the supercharger without causing engine knock. The R2 engine breathed through a 4-barrel carburetor, ensuring sufficient fuel delivery to match the increased air intake. This engine was mated to a 4-speed manual transmission, which enabled the car to run the quarter mile in 15.8 seconds. Number 10. Pontiac Catalina 2+2 421, 15.7 seconds. The 1964 Pontiac Catalina 2+2 421 was built at the time when Pontiac, under the leadership of John DeLorean, was positioning itself as a performance-oriented brand. As such, the model was aimed at buyers who wanted a larger, more luxurious muscle car compared to the GTO. The 2+2 referred to the car's seating arrangement, 2 front bucket seats and 2 rear seats, creating a more sporty and personal car experience. The Catalina 2+2 design was influenced by the wide track stance that Pontiac had adopted, which improved stability and handling. Under the hood was a 421 cubic inch V8 that produced around 370 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque with the tri-power setup, making it popular among muscle car enthusiasts. The engine featured a 10.5:1 compression ratio, a high lift camshaft, and high flow heads. It was mated to a 4-speed manual transmission, allowing the Catalina to run the quarter mile in 15.7 seconds. Number 9. Oldsmobile 442, 15.6 seconds. The 1964 Oldsmobile 442-330 was created in response to the success of the Pontiac GTO. The project was quick, with development time likely compressed compared to typical new model introductions. The name 442 originally stood for a 4-barrel carburetor, a 4-speed manual transmission, and dual exhaust. This configuration was meant to appeal to performance enthusiasts who wanted a more aggressive version of Oldsmobile's already popular Cutlass. Oldsmobile engineers, led by John Belts, designed the 442 as a package with suspension upgrades, better brakes, and a stronger drivetrain, making it a more well-rounded muscle car than some competitors. The Olds 442 had a 330 cubic inch V8 engine with a 10.25:1 compression ratio and a hotter camshaft. This engine had a 4-barrel carburetor that helped produce 310 horsepower and 355 pound-feet of torque. It was mated to a 4-speed transmission that enabled the car to run the quarter mile in 15.6 seconds. Number 8. Plymouth Sport Fury 426S, 15.2 seconds. The 1964 Plymouth Sport Fury 426S was a potent entry into the muscle car market as Chrysler Corporation, Plymouth's parent company, was keen to establish a strong presence in this segment. The Sport Fury 426S was designed to compete with similar offerings from Ford and General Motors, with S standing for street wedge. The car had a relatively sleek styling for the time, with a long hood and short deck. It also featured broad, flat surfaces, sharp edges, and a slightly sloped windshield, which likely provided decent aerodynamic performance. Chrysler engineers, led by Tom Hoover, developed the 426 cubic inch V8 wedge engine to maximize power output for racing while ensuring that it could be offered as a street-legal option. The mighty 426 Street V8 produced 365 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. It featured a single 4-barrel carburetor, a 10.3:1 compression ratio, a high-performance camshaft, solid lifters, and large valves for better airflow. It was mated to a 4-speed manual transmission that helped the car run the quarter mile in 15.2 seconds. Number 7. Pontiac Tempest GTO, 14.8 seconds. The 1964 Pontiac Tempest GTO is widely considered one of the most influential and iconic muscle cars ever produced. It was conceived as a way to inject performance and excitement into Pontiac's lineup, targeting younger buyers. The model was the brainchild of a team led by John DeLorean, who found a way to circumvent General Motors' ban on putting large engines in small cars. The GTO was based on the Tempest's A-body platform, but its impressive performance and handling capabilities were influenced by shared technology and engineering in the Chevy Corvette. It featured a relatively compact size, clean lines, and a split grille emphasizing a muscular, performance-oriented appearance. Under the hood was a 389 V8 engine producing 325 horsepower and 428 pound-feet of torque. The engine featured a 4-barrel carburetor and a 10.75-to-1 compression ratio that enhanced better performance. It was mated to a 3-speed manual transmission that helped the car run the quarter mile in 14.8 seconds. Number 6. Ford Mustang 289 Hypo, 14.68 seconds. When the Mustang was introduced in April 1964, many potential buyers were disappointed. 6 cylinders and base small blocks were listed as the only available engines, so the gearheads referred to the Mustang as the Secretary's car. However, 2 months later in June 1964, the 289 high-performance small block was added to the Mustang's options list. Also known as the K-Code Mustang, the 1964 Ford Mustang 289 Hypo became a high-performance variant of the Ford Mustang in the first-generation Mustang line. This Mustang was largely built on the Ford Falcon platform to reduce costs. That means the car's frame and body were integrated into one single structure. This also helped reduce the vehicle's weight, making it lighter and faster compared to traditional body-on-frame vehicles. The high-performance 289 cubic inch V8 engine produced 271 horsepower and 312 pound-feet of torque, thanks to its high-performance camshaft, dual-point ignition, and 4-barrel carburetor. The Hypo engine was mated to a 4-speed manual transmission that helped the car run the quarter mile in 14.68 seconds. Are you ready for our top 5 fastest quarter-mile cars of 1964? Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel, which helps us create more episodes. Number 5. Chevy Malibu SS, 14.4 seconds. In the mid-60s, sales of Chevy's compact Corvair were slipping, and the company needed a mid-size model to meet shifting consumer demands. Chevy introduced the Malibu SS for the 1964 model year as a simple, practical, moderately priced car. The Chevy Malibu SS 327 project was spearheaded by Chevrolet's general manager at the time, who had all this vision for a stylish car with enough performance to challenge Ford. The square-looking bodywork with simple, straight lines reminded customers that what was more important was hidden underneath the hood. Under the hood was the 327 cubic inch V8, producing 300 horsepower and 360 pound-feet of torque. The engine featured a 10.5-to-1 compression ratio, a 4-barrel carburetor, hydraulic lifters, and a cast iron block. The high-revving nature of this engine made it a popular choice for those looking for a more balanced performance vehicle. It was mated to a 4-speed manual transmission that helped to offer a smooth power delivery with a satisfying punch, enough to finish a quarter mile in 14.4 seconds. Number 4. Ford Galaxie 500 R-Code 427, 14 seconds. The 1964 Ford Galaxie 500 R-Code 427 was designed to compete at the highest levels of drag racing in NASCAR. Their R-Code designation referred to the specific engine code used to identify cars equipped with Ford's powerful 427 cubic inch V8 engine with dual 4-barrel carburetors. Henry Ford II initiated the 1964 Ford Galaxie 500 R-Code 427 development program to enhance the company's racing pedigree and bolster its image as a maker of performance cars. The Galaxie 500 was a full-size car with body-on-frame construction. This structure provided a strong, rigid platform for the powerful 427 engine and was quite heavy for vehicle stability on the roads. The 427 V8 produced an impressive 425 horsepower, 408 pound-feet of torque. This engine had a high compression ratio of 11.5-to-1, forged pistons, a solid lifter camshaft, cross-bolted main bearing caps, and heavy-duty valve springs, all designed to handle the extreme stress of racing. The Galaxie 500 featured a 4-speed manual transmission that helped it run the quarter mile in 14 seconds flat. Number 3. Dodge Polara 500 426S, 13.7 seconds. The Dodge Polara 500 426S was introduced in 1960 as a top-of-the-line full-size car. However, by 1964, it had been downsized to a mid-size car but retained its performance and style reputation, challenging the likes of Ford's Galaxie and Chevy's Impala. The car had a traditional body-on-frame construction, which gave it a solid, rigid structure. The body was quite large, yet streamlined by the standards of that time. Dodge emphasized durability and toughness in the Polara, particularly to accommodate the immense power of the 426 Max Wedge engine developed by Lynn Townsend and Tom Hoover, often referred to as the father of the Hemi. The 426 Max Wedge V8 produced 365 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. It featured a high compression ratio of 11:1 and was fitted with dual Carter 4-barrel carburetors mounted on a cross-ram intake manifold. Its intake manifold was specifically designed to maximize air and fuel flow to the cylinders, which enhanced combustion efficiency to produce incredible power at high RPMs. The wedge was mated to a 4-speed manual transmission, enabling the Polara to finish the quarter mile in 13.7 seconds. Number 2. Pontiac GTO 389 Tri-Power, 13.1 seconds. The Pontiac GTO 389 Tri-Power combined an affordable price with a powerful engine, aggressive styling, and an aura of performance that would define muscle cars for years. This awesome project was the brainchild of John DeLorean, who was then the head of the Pontiac division. At the time, GM had a corporate policy that limited intermediate-sized cars to engines no larger than 330 cubic inches. However, DeLorean and his team cleverly circumvented this rule by making the 389 cubic inch engine part of the GTO performance package. The 389 V8 with 3 2-barrel carburetors produced an impressive 348 horsepower and 428 pound-feet of torque. The engine featured a 10.75:1 compression ratio, which required high-octane fuel, but delivered strong performance. Additionally, it had a cast iron block in heads, solid lifters, and a hydraulic camshaft that contributed to its durability and performance. The car had a 4-speed manual transmission that helped it run the quarter mile in 13.1 seconds. Number 1. Ford Fairlane Thunderbolt, 11.76 seconds. The 1964 Ford Fairlane Thunderbolt was a limited production factory-built drag car based on the Ford Fairlane. This car was designed to compete with well-established muscle cars of that time, particularly Chryslers that were Hemi-powered as well as Chevy muscle cars. Ford utilized fiberglass body panels for the hood, doors, front fenders, and lightweight plexiglass windows to reduce weight. The interior was stripped of unnecessary features to also save weight. Under the hood was a powerful 427 V8 engine initially designed for the larger Galaxy. This engine, known as the High Riser, featured dual 4-barrel carburetors and was rated at 425 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque, although the actual horsepower was closer to 600. It was mated to a 4-speed manual transmission or a 4-speed automatic transmission modified for drag racing, making it run the quarter mile in 11.76 seconds. Thanks for watching. Which of these fastest 64 quarter-mile muscle cars was your favorite? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to click the like button and hit the bell icon to be notified when we release new episodes.